back to House of the Dragon. The show has not let me down yet, and I have a feeling this one won't either. Oh, Elena's funeral. She was one of those characters where you're really hoping to see, her do cool things, but she never got a chance. Oh, her two daughters. Why is this so sad? I only got to know the character for like 1 or 2 episodes. Look who's hand of the king again. Is he directing all that at Rhaenyra and her sons on purpose? Kind of feel like he is. Daemon, I like you, but you make it really easy for everyone to hate you. I love the score right here too. This is really good. Oh, that breaks my heart. I think that was really well done. The music, the emotion, that was great. Look at all the dragons, holy shit. Oh, is that Sunfire? I want to know what Sunfire looks like. God damn it. It's described as like the most beautiful dragon of all time. Can we drop the bullshit for 2 seconds, please? It is a funeral.
It will strengthen the family. Keep our Valyrian blood pure.
I thought Miss Alicent was all like, ew, you Targaryens and your gross incest. And then you marry your 2 eldest children together.
Lionel Strong's son's been staring at you since the moment we arrived, Your Grace. Unabashedly.
It is only a look of pride, Sir Kristen.
So she's not gonna let Kristen Cole in on what's going on there? Probably smart, but interesting. Oh.
From the old driftmark, it means everyone's dead.
These children are breaking my heart. I like all these social interactions though, like everyone's very wordlessly saying stuff to each other. Come on. Prime opportunity for you two, come on. Nah, damn it. You two gotta get a room. This poor guy. He loved his sister, and his whole life is a lie. So I can understand him being a bit of a mess right now.
Seems they've been especially cruel to you.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a place for you in my court. That's something you should need.
I need nothing.
Interesting. It looked like he was about to say something else before nothing.
No matter how fat the leech grows, it always wants for another meal.
Shit. It's interesting because there are so many opportunities here for multiple grudges or conflicts to kind of be squashed, but no one can like let themselves forgive the things that have come before. Oh, it's coming up. The moment I've specifically been dreading.
Lena needed our maesters.
Well, in the book, she died right here, so I don't think that would have helped.
Sergeant and Pentos are as well trained as
It's not justice for your wife that drives you, it is your own ambition.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The throne, if not for yourself, then for the scions of your house. Even now, at the cost of our children.
Which is a pretty interesting dynamic, that she's completely abandoned, any desire for the crown, and he just won't let it go. He's also right, though. I mean, history remembers names. It doesn't specifically, talk about all the bastard children and whatnot. The victors write history.
But I at least make the effort to maintain appearances.
You have more to lose.
I mean, you have 3 bastard children. With Arwen Strong, you're not really making much of your appearance.
Harren's curse is said to be as strong now as it was after the conquest.
It's a ghost story.
Yeah.
One Sir Otto and the Queen would gladly exploit.
I mean, true, but that place is fucking cursed, man. Like, all the way up to Game of Thrones, that place remains cursed.
Yes, I was a child. And look at what my life became without you.
It's kind of a fair point. If they had married each other back then, it would have pissed people off, but
I know little.
might have fixed a couple other things. Are we doing this? Yes, no, yes,
Rhaenyra.
no, yes. Both of the people you actually had children with just died. You two are getting lusty on the beach the night of the funeral of his wife. Interesting. Very interesting. It's a really weird relationship these two have. Like, I think they do love each other, but in such a strange version of that word. I wouldn't call it healthy. It's so dark, though, I can't see shit. I hate when they do this day for night thing. Like, they film it all during the daytime and then just after the fact make it darker and put like a blue filter over everything. Not only does it not look like night, I can't see anything. Like, I'd like to make it clear, I feel kind of bad for him as a kid, you know, doesn't have a dragon, gets picked on by his older brother and both of the Velaryon children. But if he had gone to literally any other dragon besides this one. But kudos to him for having the balls to do this. Like, as much as I despise this and him, that is a gutsy move for like a 10-year-old to go and do this. Oh shit. Vhagar, this is truly the last time I can look upon you as a friend. I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. Just burn him alive, Vhagar. Eat him. It's all downhill from here, folks. It should have been you, Rhaena. It should have been you. She looks such a cool dragon, though. Oh, damn. Again, the balls you would have to do this as a little 10-year-old. Again, as much as I kind of despise this sequence, I'm also loving it. Like, the camera angles, the whole tone of it's really good. Alright, I'll let you have this one moment to feel good about yourself. Claiming the largest dragon in the entire world. That is an incredible feat. Well done. But also, fuck you for everything you do.
Who is it?
Oh, interesting. They're both curious. They're like, who claimed Vhagar? Everyone kind of knows. Like, whoever claims this dragon, you now have the upper hand in any conflict. And that would be the Greens, Alicent and her team, which sucks. Oh shit, here we go.
Vhagar is my mother's dragon.
Your mother's dead. Vhagar has a new rival.
Yeah, fuck you.
Mine to claim.
Then you should have claimed her.
He makes a good point. You should have claimed her faster. Oh. Oh shit. Fuck him up. Fuck him up. Jesus, this is pretty brutal for like a group of kids. Oh.
Where were you?
Me?
Ow! What was that for?
What did I do?
The abuse your brother suffered while you were drowning in your cups, you fool.
Bela did throw the first punch, to be fair. Only one of you took it to the point of pulling out a rock and ready to kill them.
Prince Aemond must be sharply questioned so we might learn where he heard such slanders.
Damn, that's an interesting card to play there, Rhaenyra.
My son has lost an eye.
Could not find sleep. I'd gone out to walk.
Entertaining his young squires. No adventure.
Fuck you.
Everyone knows. Just look at them.
I mean, yes.
Now make your apologies and show goodwill to one another. Your father, your grandsire, your king demands it!
That is insufficient.
Yeah, well, that's all you're gonna get. Tough shit.
Aemond has been damaged permanently. Bring me the Eye of Lucerys, but
Make one move, bro. Make one move.
As your protector, my queen.
Interesting, he actually said no to her.
This matter is finished.
Shit.
Alison, stay with the king!
Jesus Christ.
But now they see you as you are.
Ooh. Oh shit. You guys should probably like wrap that up. That actually looks like a pretty serious injury.
I may have lost an eye, but I gained a dragon.
Yeah, that's right from the book. He makes the biggest point of all. It doesn't matter that I lost an eye, I gained the greatest weapon of all time. That's kind of cool. We actually get to see visually here, you know, each side of the conflict.
Already the word is spreading, the gossip speculating that I've gone mad.
I mean, you did kind of lose your shit there.
True.
I've disgraced myself.
I've never seen that side of you, my daughter.
No, what? You
I even doubted
You
its
liked it?
existence.
It was an ugly thing, I regret it.
No. No. Don't stop it. Gross. Ow.
I should have been there.
They should be our house words.
I hate the gods for making me as they did.
I do not. You are an honourable man.
Aw.
With a good heart.
It's very sweet, Rhaenyra. And fuck yes it is. Jesus Christ.
Viserys.
We'll speak no more of it.
He's not gonna press the issue, but he certainly isn't accepting your apology. Vhagar, you fucking treacherous asshole. Like, you went from your best rider to your worst.
If it's an eye you want to balance the scale.
Laris, chill the fuck out.
That will not be necessary.
We could not marry unless Leonor were dead.
I know.
Damn! So they're saying, it really was Daemon and Rhaenyra who had Laenor killed?
And rule through terror.
A tyrant rules only through terror.
I mean, what are you doing right now?
And grant him this kindness. Set him free.
You forget yourself.
It's an interesting way to set someone free.
My lord.
Kind of interesting that they didn't show us the moment of death. Yeah. Poor Rhaenys. Both her kids in one fell swoop.
How did you let this happen?
They will fear what else we might be capable of.
That's fucked up, man. That's fucked up. Ow. Stop slicing yourself open. Enough. That, ow, that kiss would have to be, like, so painful. No way. Yes! Alright. Now that is a surprise. In the book, he is for sure dead. Wait, does that mean that Rhaenyra and Daemon, like, planned for him to get away, or did Carl just kind of get him away? Well, that was really good. That was very good. Well, another House of the Dragon and another banger of an episode. This had a few pretty key moments from the book that I had been looking forward to, or not looking forward to, I guess. And for the most part, they have followed what's gone on in the book pretty damn close, with the exception of the big twist here that Laenor was actually spared. After thinking about it and rewatching it as well, I definitely think Daemon and Rhaenyra planned for that the whole time. You know, the idea was everyone needs to see and think that, you know, we had Laenor killed, but we're actually gonna, you know, let him escape with his boyfriend across the narrow sea so they can live out their life. I really like that. For such a kind character, one that I've felt so bad for this whole time, I'm glad that he gets a happy ending. The same cannot be said for just about anybody else. The scene with Aemond claiming Vhagar, that was definitely one I was looking forward to seeing, but also dreading it at the same time because, again, without getting too spoiler heavy, he and Vagar are going to be an radically enormous problem for, Team Rhaenyra. And at the end of the day, I'm certainly Team Black as opposed to Team Green. But, people in the Greens, people are people. Everyone has something that I can feel, a little bit of sympathy towards, some more than others. And then the big fight amongst the kids right after that, claiming of Vagar, it gives Aemond his most used nickname, Aemond One Eye. And I like how they played the sequence out with both sides kind of rightly being angry at each other. Like, he's just claimed their dead mother's dragon at her funeral, which is kind of insulting. Like, come on, man, you couldn't have waited a day or two. You couldn't have tried again later. But to his credit, as he said, you should have claimed Vagar faster if that's what you wanted to do. So it's a bit of a faux pas, and at the same time, I can't really fault him for the timing of the incident. But I also can't fault Bela and Rhaena for being so upset that he, of all people, is the one to claim Vagar while they're mourning their dead mother. And, the fight began, it escalated, and ended with Lucerys cutting out Aemon's eye. And it is kind of important that it was Lucerys who cut out his eye. Just keep that in mind moving forward. For obvious reasons, the grudge that the two of them would likely have over something like that happening, but also for other thematic reasons that I don't want to spoil just yet. The scene after that with Alicent losing her goddamn mind was also very well done. For the most part, it played out the way it did in the book, with Alicent demanding Lucerys having his eye taken, and ultimately Viserys, as he usually does, saying, well, what's done is done. Everyone go to bed. I'm not doing anything about this. And to be fair, the only thing he really could do about it was basically what Alicent wanted, which is very cruel and fucked up, and I'm glad he didn't. But it's an interesting change that Alicent grabs the dagger and tries to do it herself and ends up slicing open Rhaenyra's arm. I think it removes some of the subtlety from the book where, to the public, it's very difficult for a lot of people to decide who they should be supporting because appearance-wise, they both have some pretty good qualities. And underneath the surface, they both do some pretty fucked up things. But by having Alicent physically attack her in front of everyone, I think it removes a bit of that. It makes it pretty much like, do you hate Rhaenyra or do you hate Alicent? There's no real reason other than those two reasons to follow one team or the other. I still think it was good though, and I think there's still plenty of complex subtleties that are in the show and could still exist between those two characters going forward. It was just an interesting choice for her to physically attack her like that. Everything going on with Daemon and Rhaenyra is such a train wreck to watch, really. Strangely enough, they probably are the best fit for one another, which is so fucked up considering their uncle and niece. But they do genuinely care about each other in, whatever way that means to each of them. And in terms of political moves, it is a strong move. Having Daemon at her side does make her more of a threat to everyone else. And thinking about how the, upcoming conflict unfolds in the book, I don't think Rhaenyra would have done what she was able to do without Daemon. I think, obviously, there's plenty she still could have done, but Daemon is a big help. Is a very, very big help. The episode as a whole had a very somber and extremely tense feel to it. I particularly like the funeral scene where everyone's silently either giving extreme shade or, kind of passing a message along to everyone else. It was very, very, very tense. I'd say that's something the show as a whole has got going for it in a very good way, is how well they're able to hold this level of tension for such a long time, to the point where when things do finally explode, I don't know, I just have a good feeling that this is going to be a wild ride of a show. But let's jump into the technicals. Writing of the episode, I think, was really, really good. Not only are they sticking close to the source material, which is a very well-written narrative, but even the deviations that they make aren't so much of a deviation that it throws off the narrative. It's just something that would fit within this story, like Alicent exploding and attacking Rhaenyra with the dagger, and Laenor actually living despite everyone thinking he's dead. And again, every character action is always built up from something that's happened before. The conflict between Aemond and the other kids would not have happened if it wasn't for the conflict that had built up between Rhaenyra and Alicent, which would not have happened if it wasn't for Viserys' choices of who he married and who Rhaenyra lied to. And again, just every decision builds up and adds on to, you know, new generations of characters, which is very smart. I think it's extremely well written. And again, as long as they're sticking to the source material, which it seems like they very much are, that altercation between the kids is going to add on to what's going to come next in some very interesting ways, in some very brutal ways. I also appreciate that the dialogue is a bit more, what's the word? I don't like to say Shakespearean for everything because it's not exactly the case, but people speak in a much more flowery, like medieval type way on this show. I feel like in Game of Thrones and in a lot of fantasy, people just talk the same way that they do nowadays. Which, I mean, it's a choice. It's a fantasy medieval world. You can have them talk however you want. But I appreciate the fact that they'll say things like mayhaps. So yeah, I think the writing was fantastic. The only thing I can really gripe about is with Alicent's freakout. Again, I think it's definitely in character. It works within the story, but I do think it removes some of those subtleties that I would have appreciated. So I'll do a 9 out of 10. Editing was very good. I particularly like the editing during the flight sequence with Vhagar. Some really smart choices to sell the speed and the height and the just danger of it all. Like there's a really nice cut when all the birds are coming towards Aemond. Like you see them basically reach him, and right at that very moment it cuts to a different angle as they're speeding past. It just really helps sell the speed and danger of the situation. It was very nice. And there were also some really nice edits during the moment where Alicent has the dagger on Rhaenyra, and they had these fairly long close-ups on the dagger and then on each of their faces. Like, it was very well done. That being said, I think there are some dialogue scenes that could have been spruced up just a little tidbit, particularly between Daemon and Rhaenyra when they had their first conversation on the beach. So I'll do another 9 out of 10. Cinematography. I actually have a bit of a gripe here. They did all the night scenes in this episode with that day to night filter, and I hate that. It makes the scenes too dark to see what's going on, or for the most part anyways, and it doesn't look like nighttime. It looks like you clearly filmed it during day and then in post, recolored it and made it darker. I don't like that choice. They did it every so often in Game of Thrones and on like every show and movie I've ever seen. And I've never liked it, and I never will. It's a much cheaper way to film nighttime sequences, but I say don't be cheap, buy the lights, and do it at night. There's also the issue of child actors. It's very difficult to be able to get a child actor during a nighttime sequence, just because there are a lot of laws about when they are allowed to film and how long they're allowed to film. But still, I don't like it. But the framing and composition of all the shots were gorgeous as usual, and the lighting and other choices made throughout the rest of the episode I thought were fantastic. I just really didn't appreciate that day to night stuff, so I'm going to do a 7 out of 10. Acting in the episode was fantastic. I really liked the moment between Rhaenyra and Alicent when, she said,
"What have I done but what was expected of me? And now you take my son's eye. And to even that you feel entitled."
Now they see you as you are.
Like, the pain on both of their faces in that moment was very palpable. And I think it was more than just anger. It seemed clear to me that they were both kind of sad that it's come to this. They used to be friends, and because Alicent followed all the rules and Rhaenyra followed none of them, they are mortal enemies now, and nothing can really fix it anymore. Like, if there is a singular point in the story where there is no coming back, honestly, I think it's when Aemon loses his eye. That is the moment where Alicent and Rhaenyra can never see eye to eye again, pun intended. And I think both the actors really showed that in that moment. I also really liked the actor playing Aemond in this whole episode. He played him with a level of sympathy that made you kind of root for him when he claims Vhagar, but also a sinisterness that makes you go, oh shit, as soon as he's talking to Baela, Rhaena, and Rhaenyra's kids. So I'm gonna do a 10 out of 10. Costumes and makeup are fantastic. Some of the wigs are noticeable as wigs, which is a little unfortunate, but I do realize it's almost impossible to make specifically like white hair look real for a wig. But some people's wigs I do think are better than others as well. Like the wig that Aemond was wearing in this episode was not the greatest. But I think the one that Rhaenyra has is quite good. So I mean, you know, it's difficult to do, I understand. And the costumes are so good. Really appreciate the fact that there are multiple designs and colors, because towards the later seasons of Game of Thrones, they basically just started reusing old outfits and just made them all black, which was extremely boring. And here there's a noticeable style to each house and each character, which I really like. So I'll do an 8 out of 10. Set design was very, very good. I liked the location of the beaches that they were using. The port where Daemon has his conversation with Carl, I thought looked very good, even though there's a good chance that that was like a really small set and just a green screen behind them, but it still looked great. And even though we've seen it before, Driftmark just looks awesome. I really like what they've done with the look of the whole island. So I'll do 10 out of 10. Visual effects were very, very good. All the visual effects on Vhagar during that whole sequence looked incredibly impressive. There was also that really nice shot of like 6 dragons at once all roosting on the island during the funeral. That was great. And in general, the set extension and, you know, green screens that they use in the background are flawless. I very, very rarely ever notice it. But I will say there is a slight dip in quality compared to that of a super high budget Hollywood movie. So it's not as perfect as it could be. And for that reason, I'll do a 9 out of 10. And finally, the sound design. I particularly liked the sound design in this episode. I will always be a little miffed that the theme song for the intro is just the same one as Game of Thrones. But the music they played during the funeral was extremely moving, very, very good. Actually, music that I'm gonna download for myself for later because it was quite good. Same for the sequence where Vhagar is claimed. The sounds that Vhagar makes is very dinosaur-like, which I actually like a lot. And the sort of surrealistic theme that Rhaenyra has, I always love whenever I get to hear that. So I'm going to do 10 out of 10. And that gives this episode a 9 out of 10. Which, damn right, because that was a damn good episode. I would like to reiterate, this is the only show currently on that has not disappointed me. In recent memory, almost every movie or show that I've watched, I have been let down by at least a little bit. And this show remains really fucking good. So I will see you all for that next one. And that's about it.